MES third eye. So we will start the session soon, okay?
Gandhi by Miss Geetu Mary Anthony for the welcome address.
Good afternoon, all. First of all, I wish you a very happy Gandhi Jayanti. Let's try to imbibe his values taught by our great Mahatma. So, Gandhi Smriti, last year, MES, the MES is a very well-known organization offering educational services to society. So, for the past 1 year, we were conducting many programs uh, in commemorating the 150th birth anniversary of our Mahatma. This is the second program organized by our Department of Fashion Design and Management. Today, we have selected the topic Khadi. As we have connected with fashion, we thought this is the best thing we can do. And we also got a very eminent personality for deliver a speech about Khadi on this special day. So, first I welcome our beloved principal, Dr. Ajim Spi Mohammed, to this event. He'll be formally inaugurating this session. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you,
Second,
Geetu.
I would like to welcome our resource person, Ms. Bella Sangvi. She is one of the eminent craft revivalists working in India. She has more than 40 plus years experience in reviving craft and handlooms. She is well known for her works uh, in reviving this famous Patola handlooms. I welcome you, ma'am. Also, I welcome all my colleagues working in MES College Marabali and all those who have joined us for this special event. Welcome you all.
Thank you very much, Geetu, for welcoming me.
Thank you, Geetu. Next, I request our principal, Dr. Ajim Sri Mohammed, to speak a few words. Sir, please.
Okay. Respected resource person of the day, Miss Bella Sangvi, Madam, HOD of Fashion Design Department, Miss Geetu, all other faculty members and students and other participants who are attending this webinar. Today, on behalf of Gandhi Jayanti, we are organizing the Fashion Design and Management BWOC department is organizing a webinar on the textile industry since Gandhi's Khadi. Today, we are all celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of our father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi. On behalf of MES, Muslim Education Society, for the last year onwards, for the last October 2nd onwards, we are conducting a 1 year long Gandhi celebrations under the name Gandhi Smriti. As part of that program, we could we could conduct seminars with Tushar Gandhi, Rajmohan Gandhi, and other eminent personalities who are related with Mahatma Gandhi's family, the grandsons and great grandsons of Mahatma Gandhi. And one of the main principle of Mahatma Gandhi is to leave foreign dresses and use the or developing the uses of khadi and khadi cottage industries. Today, I'm very much happy to say that the fashion design and management, one of the most prominent department of MES College Marambali, is organizing such a particular webinar on the topic for the development of khadi industry, and we have got the right and eminent personality to address the webinar, Miss Bella Sangvi, on behalf of MES College Marambali and on behalf of all other members of the faculty. I once again welcome you, ma'am, for this webinar, and I congratulate the Department of Fashion Design and Management under the very able leadership of Geedu, Marin Anthony, and all other faculty members. This webinar will be a very fruitful session for the participants who are attending this webinar. I congratulate all of you and wish you all the success to the program, and wish you all the success. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite our resource person, Ms. Bella Sangvi, for the webinar session. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Geetu. Gandhiji, for me, after studying Gandhiji, which was much later in my career, that I started understanding what Gandhiji was all about. Otherwise, yes, he was the father of the nation. He was the great human being, the Mahatma, who has given us the sensibilities of freedom. But unless one understands what is that freedom is of no use. And here, I'm here to talk about this particular topic, where how khadi, and since khadi, what has happened. But to understand that, we need to understand the history behind khadi and behind the thought processes of Gandhiji. Why did he choose khadi? Before Britishers, India used to be Sone ki Chidiya. India had 28% of world's wealth. If we compare it to today, just now USA has 24% of world's wealth. So you can imagine what kind of trade we had, what kind of presence we had. We had linkages of trade all the way to Japan, and on the other side, all the way to Europe. We had the spice route, the silk route, and the salt route, trading from India and to India. And the safest currency at that time was textiles. And obviously, everything at that point was hand spun, khadi. Today we know this as khadi, but at that time it was just a hand spun yarn, because there was no machine spun yarn available. So this is the background. Today we are the second largest employer of India after agriculture. But much more than that, we are the leaders in skill sets in handloom and handicrafts industry. We have the largest pool of skill sets the largest pool of technology. We have the largest pool of people being employed in the world in handloom and handicrafts. I will share one experience that I was invited to address one of the UNESCO conferences at Laos on brocades. Lot of people had come from all over the world, and they had come with one technology, two technologies at the most. I had gone with 56 different technologies, and I still felt I was not representing India. Even today, other countries may have 2 or 3 technologies at the most as a highlight of their culture. I personally have identified 320 different technologies in India, and I'm writing a book on textile techniques of India. So you can imagine what kind of skill sets we have. You can imagine what kind of heritage we have in this sector. I believe this is a world heritage and not just the heritage of India. And we need to do something major to protect ourselves by not losing these technologies. Some of it is already lost, but whatever is not lost, then we need to preserve the skill sets. I'm not talking about the design, I'm not talking about the execution, I'm talking about the skill sets creating this. And this is what Gandhiji's vision was all about. In order for us to understand Gandhiji's vision, we need to understand what Gandhiji went through. Bapuji, as he is fondly known as in many circles, he changed our vision, our way of our looking at our culture. He was from the Inner Temple. He was trained as a lawyer in Inner Temple, London. From that to coming back as a lawyer and trying to settle down in India, he could not settle down because he had the ideals which were instilled in him by his Gujarati parents. Along with that, he had the mindset of the British, where the fairness was supposed to be part of life. Fortunately for him, he got an assignment from a wealthy Gujarati trader who was exporting to South Africa and who had a case over there. So, Mr. M.K. Gandhi's services were hired, and that is how Bapuji went to South Africa. I think South Africa was his experimental ground, where he learned about the ground realities. He studied various lifestyles, religious thoughts. He studied various methods, and not only studied, he implemented and experimented with some of them. And that's how the Tolstoy farm was established in South Africa. After 21 years, they decided to come back to India. And when they landed, from the suits that he was wearing when he went to London to when he came back to India from South Africa, he was wearing dhoti, kurta, and a pagdi. And Kasturba was wearing a sari and a blouse. That was the change that happened in Gandhiji during that time. After that, he took extensive tour of India, traveled to most of the nooks and crannies of India and tried to understand what all of us were all about. In that process, even his dhoti went, and it came to literally a short dhoti made out of khaddar. Khaddar is nothing but rough khadi. Khadi, which is almost like 60 and less count of yarns, and he started wearing that. And in winters, one heavy shawl, which was made out of ahimsa silk, was what he was using. And wherever he went, till his end, he wore only those clothes. Even the round table conference that he addressed was also in that short dhoti. So the thinking of Gandhiji was to ensure that each and every person in India not only had enough clothes to wear, but also to ensure they had enough food to eat. Through Khadi, he achieved many, many goals, which were a win-win situation for Indian population. At that time, when Gandhiji started this movement, most of the cotton was sent to UK. It was spun there and woven there, and then it was brought back to India with the high cost, and with that, the British economy was flourishing, but Indian economy was getting drained. So when he started Khadi movement, or when he started doing the charkha or spinning the charkha himself, he realized that this was a fantastic tool if he utilized, he inspired Indian people to utilize the charkha. Lot of cotton would stay back in India and it would not be exported. And if it is not exported, the dumping will be less. I always used to believe that Gandhiji didn't understand much about weaving, and hence he never spoke about handloom weaving. And I never understood why. But once I got into the depth of my profession, I recognized that he was a master strategist. When the khadi is hand spun, the sophisticated machineries of Britishers was not able to weave those khaddars, or today what we know as khadi. So not only the spinning of khadi, but also the handloom weaving had to be done in India. And if it was done in India, they could not take anything from that kitty. And the Indian product was sold to Indian at a correct price. As a result, lot of people got employment. Lot of people had then food to eat, and think about freedom movement, that it benefited them. So that was like so many prong approach. At every level, it worked as a tool to revive the Indian handloom industry and Indian spinning industry. So that is the background where we are coming from today. Today, khadi is considered as a old-fashioned fabric, or fabric which is worn by Benji ladies and not the with it and the fashionable lady. Here, I would like, since this is an institution which is training the future fashion designers, future practitioners, future merchandisers in this industry, I would like them to be aware that this is the most sustainable fabric that is existing on the earth today. For spinning, there is no water utilized, no electricity utilized. Cotton is grown. If it is organically grown, then there is no fertilizer or no chemicals used to grow cotton. And after that, the spinning process, the weaving process, everything does not require energy. It is being used, the human energy is being used and not the energy which is created energy by us. And also, when we are talking about things like saris or kurtas, it fits. Say, for example, if today I'm wearing my mom's sari, after so many years also, I can still wear her sari. Beyond this, what more can be sustainable? I would like to understand. I would like the students to understand that this is the future. This is where the ecology issues are also addressed. The employment issues are also addressed. Also, the ground floor level, where gender equality is concerned, we can address so many issues through this particular. By following Gandhiji, I believe that we can solve many, many, many problems. Now, this is about what was happening till today. Now, what is the future of Khadi? Khadi can employ many more people who are not having any employment, and it's a simple charkha learning process which anybody can do it. And if you have a small charkha, you can spin anywhere you are. In Khadi, there are levels of qualities from, say, 60, and lower count will be one of the cheaper qualities, which we can use it for many, many, many functions, like the curtains, the home furnishings, even for wearing. So very, very comfortable material to wear. Also, I believe that from 60 to 150, a common person can also afford it. So there is a huge market available. In the weather that we are living, Khadi is the most skin-friendly material that we have. And from 150 onwards to 600 to 1200 count of Khadi, we can create the upmarket Khadi material, which will address the needs of people who are having enough income to wear the best quality of Khadi. So there are many, many sectors which can be addressed by us. There are so many techniques through which we can create Khadi material. For example, even today, the patola fabric that is being used is using Khadi silk. Or if we are talking about the brocades of Banaras, the finest brocades, some of them are still using khadi yarn of a fine quality. For example, the Tanda Jamdanis, they are the best, the finest quality of khadi that one can actually offer to the consumer. Now, each state of India has a different use for khadi. All of us started using khadi. I think we will require more and more people to spin khadi and manufacture khadi. Now, I'm just talking about the Indians. Even 10% of the Indians start wearing khadi. This is going to be the situation. Can you imagine if we are able to address the needs of exporters and the importers from other countries? What kind of markets do we have? And sustainable, ethical, shareable markets is what we will have. So, to me, khadi and the fabric made out of khadi, for whatever use that we may use, one may use it for a kurta, one may use it for a shirt or pant, or one may use it for a skirt and a blouse, or whatever use one wants, or the uniform for the schools may be created by khadi so that lot of people can eat. One cotton sari, which is made with khadi yarn, ensures 80 people employed in that process, starting from the farm till the end of till the khadi goes into the grave. There are 80 people who get employment in that process. To me, it's a fantastic solution to people who may not have too many other skills and may not have enough education for them to earn enough for their family and instill good values to their offspring. Also, we need to earn forex through khadi and other handloom textiles. We can still become Sone ki chidiya because the demand is there. There is not enough supply and there is no matching of demand and supply. So demand is going on its way and supply is going on its way. They are not meeting together. We need to create platforms where they meet together. And your institution and institutions like yours have a major role to play. You are training the future of India. When Gandhiji shifted to the khadi material or the dhoti and kurta in the initial stages, he realized how comfortable it was. Also, how he was able to connect with the people, especially when he just started wearing dhoti, the short dhoti. Everyone would connect with him. The rich and famous, the downtrodden, the discriminated people. Because of his policies, everyone connected with him. And he had a flourishing career, if I may call it. I think it was way beyond his career, but his lifestyle, his whole life changed, and he ensured our life changed, not only his life. We got freedom because we started practicing khadi, wearing khadi, and ensuring that we wear Swadeshi clothes. This is even valid today. Even today, we need to even style our clothes in a Swadeshi manner. There is obscene numbers of variety from different regions where the fashion designers can actually attract those designs and practice those designs. We have royal patronages who were fantastic patrons earlier for khadi also. We need to revive these connections rather than saying that middleman has to be removed. My recommendation is the correct middleman needs to be introduced. And those can be done by your institute and by all your students who are going to take this forward from people like me. I would like you to be part of this movement. I would like you to wear khadi, flaunt it on all social media. Khadi, handloom and handcrafted. That is my recommendation and that is my call to action. Thank you. It will be a pleasure to take any questions if you have.
Ma'am,
Hello?
ma'am,
Yes.
how was the khadi material? Ma'am? How are they made?
The khadi material, how is it made? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, you get a raw material like cotton. Say, for example, let's start with cotton. You spin cotton. So that spinning is done by, see, just now, most of the cotton is spun today by the spinning mills. Whereas khadi, for khadi, you need to hand spin it with the charkha or the spin mill. There are 3-4 ways of manufacturing khadi. There is ambar charkha, where 8 different streams, yarns can be created at a time. So these are the tools with which the khadi yarn is created. Once the yarn is created, it needs to shift to the loom. So while you are shifting to the loom, all the yarn has to be prepared for the warp. You are aware of warping and weft preparation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the warp and weft are prepared, and that is when the khadi material is woven by handloom. This is how the khadi material is done. In that process, if anybody wants dyeing at the yarn stage or at the finished stage, that can be done. The checks can be made in khadi. There are patolas can be made in khadi. There are various
Patterns, ma'am.
Sorry,
Patterns, ma'am.
patterns. What do you mean by pattern? Say, for example, if you want to do a brocade in khadi, then you have the jacquard system or a dobby system. You understand that? The jacquard system?
Ma'am.
Yeah. So with that, you can have a brocade made out of khadi. Or when you want to do block printing, then the fabric has to be finished, and then you do block printing, you do bandhani, you do embroidery on khadi. There are variety of processes which can be utilized to manufacture variety in khadi.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Does it answer your question properly?
Ma'am?
Does it answer your question? Are you satisfied with your reply?
Okay, ma'am. Satisfied, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Great. Great. Anyone else having any questions? Geetu?
Okay, ma'am, my doubt is there are a lot of brands showing off they are giving off this Khadi products, but they are just fake brands, you know.
Yes.
So how we can differentiate between the original Khadi and fake ones?
Okay. It's very difficult, but one can find out. When you remove khadi, uh, when the intervals of you understand in the slubs, right, Geetuji?
Yes, ma'am.
The slubs which happen in khadi,
Yeah, I know.
when the slubs are happening at regular interval,
Mhm.
you know that it is not real khadi.
Okay.
Because a human being will not have the slubs exactly at that particular point. It will be so uneven that the machines can't duplicate that.
Okay.
Machine needs some kind of replication so that it can perpetuate itself. So one of the first clue is that the roughness of the yarn will give you whether it is real khadi or not. Second clue, and these are just clues, these are not a surety, but the second clue is if the khadi surface is uneven or even. If it is too even, then you know that the khadi is not real khadi. They are just saying that this is khadi, but that's not real khadi. The third way of looking at it would be the fall of the fabric. When it is even fall of the fabric, that is when you know that it is not real khadi. Khadi will have its own fall. Khadi does not require too much of ironing. One stroke of proper iron and it will retain its shape for some time. Whereas the khadi, which is machine made or the supposed khadi, will require lot of ironing because there is no stoppage of the folds which happen. So these are the few clues, but there is no assurity possible that you will not be taken for a chakkar, and that's why we need to have future practitioners to be aware and to ensure that they practice fair fair trade practices and also ethical fabrics need to emerge today. Does it answer your question, Geetuji?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Most welcome. Yeah.
Anybody else?
So then, thank you. And may I?
Okay, ma'am, one more question. How
Yes.
students can use this Khadi for their projects? Like, what are new innovations they can develop on this in this Khadi?
So many innovations can be done. Say, for example, are you talking about the khadi yarn or khadi fabric?
Fabric.
That's the real question. Yeah. If it is a fabric, so many innovations. Say, for example, preloom stage, if you dye the fabric in different colors, you will have a dhoop chhav effect in khadi, which will be a very, very interesting effect on khadi with the slub effect, which many of my projects does have that effect. Then simple changing of the yarns in different colors. Say, for example, the Madras checks that we export even today. The Madras checks is nothing but khadi, which is known as bleeding Madras. I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but the bleeding Madras is something which is totally khadi. And all you have to do is change some of the warp, organize the distances, and organize the weft accordingly, so that you get the checked effect. This is even tying and dyeing at the yarn stage, which is known as patola. In South, it is practiced as ikat, or in Orissa, it is practiced as banda saris. So many things. Even from Kerala, you have kasavu. Earlier, kasavu also was made with hand-spun khadi, and not the machine-made kasavu, which is made just now. Now, these are at the preloom stage. At onloom stage, one can create amazing brocades, like the Paithanis. We have started making it in khadi, or ashawals, which we have started now making it in khadi, or Banarasi brocade like Tanda Jamdani, or many Jamdanis. Most of the Jamdanis from South, from Dhaka, from Banaras, so many different Jamdanis, or any kind of brocade, any kind of tapestry can be done, say for example, in wool. The khadi wool is what is used for kani, the kani shawls that we have, which is one of the most expensive textiles that we have. And then once this is at the on-loom stage. For the post-loom stage, obscene numbers of technologies which are there, which can be applied to khadi. Starting from bandhani, lahariya, block printing, kalamkari, embroideries, different kinds of embroideries. I have created chikankari on khadi. Whatever you want, you can use. The condition is that first of all, it has to be hand spun and handloom made. That is when our whole economy can change, and also our sustainability modules can change. Does that answer the question, or do they have further?
Yes, ma'am.
queries?
What we can do in this fiber stage? What are
At the fiber stage, experiment with different raw materials. Say, for example, the silk khadi, which is spun silk. Basically, the ahimsa silk is when the cocoon is allowed to fully develop and the butterfly is allowed to fly away. Now, whatever is left of the cocoon, from that, this spin khadi. Now, when you spin khadi, the texture is uneven, and this is known as ahimsa khadi or ahimsa fabric. Now, that is possible anywhere, and if we do that, we are also addressing some of the needs of Jeevadaya movement. So there are obscene numbers of markets which are ready for ahimsa khadi. We can work with banana fiber. We can work with jute, with khadi. There are numbers of raw material which have not been even explored in this sector. We can work on that at the fiber stage. Now, the tools which are used to spin khadi. We've all heard of a spindle. Lot of people use the spindle to spin khadi, where you don't need a charkha, you don't need anything else, you just need your skills and a spindle. Spindle will guide the thread to spin khadi well. That's it. Or there are small charkhas available which you can travel with and spin anywhere that one wants to spin. Then there is a large charkha, which, you have a larger wheel, so you get better quality and better movement of manufacturing khadi. And then there is ambar charkha, where 8 streams of fiber can be created simultaneously. So innovations can be plenty utilizing these technologies which are available to us. We just need amazing amount of creativity. I'll give you one example. My guru, Mrs. Pupul Jaikar, has written many books, but this particular one is known as Jaikar's volume. This has only spinning, and there are 8 huge volumes talking about only spinning cotton, and that too by hand. And if she had not done so much other work, and if she had done only this, it would have been a fantastic service to the nation. And I do believe that if we refer to such documents, then we know how to ensure the quality of khadi and what are the different innovations that can happen just by spinning. Can you imagine spinning high twist khadi and we get a chiffon-like material in cotton? Can you imagine that?
Really interesting.
Yeah, but we have not explored. We are not experimenting. We are not, there is so much outside that we are looking at that we are not focusing on what we have. I would also like the students to experiment with the clothes. The khadi fall and the synthetic fall is amazingly different and comfortable. There is a movie called Roman Holidays of yesteryears, where I think, what was her name? I forget the heroine's name. And she is a princess and she is dancing in a ball robe, wearing a ball gown. And she is wearing a hand-spun taffeta silk. And, for the formal functions, you need a particular fall. And I couldn't believe that she was wearing a khadi taffeta. And the fall, the formal fall is not supposed to be very flimsy and it's not supposed to move with you. So you can literally see that nanosecond that when she is dancing, the gown is taking that nanosecond to dance after that, creating a fantastic effect of that dance, that visual, and that is what opened my eyes to the possibilities of khadi. One must see that scene where she's just dancing, and the ball, the gown is dancing with her in the perfect, graceful manner. We have stopped to observe all this. The Western clothes also look amazing with khadi. This is my submission to all your students, that they should not only make clothes, wear clothes, and flaunt it and create a fashion trend out of khadi and handloom and handcrafted material. Does that answer the question?
Yes, ma'am, that is quite insightful. How many of the students will do implement these things in their projects? I think so.
There are so many things that they can do with the projects. Not the embroidery techniques that they can experiment with are many. or dyeing techniques. Right? There are so many things that we just have to think creatively and offer solutions which are innovative solutions and customized solutions. This is my humble submission on this aspect.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else,
Most welcome.
have any questions?
Ma'am, I would like to know about the average prices of khadi, because once I bought a piece of khadi from Gandhigram, the cost was 400 per half meter. I felt like it was expensive.
It depends on what count of khadi one is buying. There is no standardized way to price khadi, but the higher the count, the more expensive will be the khadi. So if you are buying 60 counts khadi, it should be falling for 1 meter, it should be falling in the range of approximately 100 to 150 rupees. And beyond that, then the karigar also has to eat, right? Everything is done by hand. You have to remember that. And I do believe that handcrafted textiles are going to be expensive. They cannot be compared with mill-made textiles. There are many people getting employment out of it, and also the look, the fall, the feel, and everything is customized. So they deserve more price.
Okay.
And there will always be, if it is a Gandhigram situation, around this time, they will always have a discounted situation which are subsidized by the central government. So if you buy at that time, you will get it at a reasonably cheaper rate, but it's not cheap. It cannot be cheap. And I think you must have bought something in silk, if I'm not mistaken, and not in cotton.
Yes,
So then that much pricing is required, na?
okay, yes.
Just as when you create a fantastic outfit, you also need to be paid fair, right? This, in the same manner, the karigars also need to be paid fair. And hence, I believe that we should not be bargaining with the karigars. Maybe if you are buying 10 outfits, buy 3 outfits, but buy which are fantastic in handloom, handcrafted in khadi. This is my way of looking at it. It's not how many different clothes that we have, but it is what are we doing with those clothes? Are we harming the earth? Are we harming the environment? Are we harming the society by not giving employment to people? What are we doing? We need to be conscious of our actions. And hence, my request would be that one must not bargain when it is fairly paid. If they are asking for, say, thousands of rupees, I can understand that. Or maybe lakhs of rupees, I can understand that. Either you don't buy or you bargain. But when a small weaver is working, my request would be to pay him little extra. That would be my request.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excuse
Thank
me,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Even I have the same question.
Yes.
Even I have the
Sure.
same question regarding the pricing, because in this Ghadi grams and all, particularly these Ghadis are commonly woven in a village. Normally, a group of people are doing it, no? And from there, these textiles are taking this product to their sale.
Showrooms.
So that the people, their showrooms, so that the people are paid less. normally I had read a news like that. The people are paid less like that. So do you have any suggestions like people like us can buy things directly from the viewers like that? So it will be helpful for them also, no, ma'am?
This is something which is my favorite topic. Now, I believe that we need to create it as an industry. In industry, what happens? That, say for example, if I want to buy a lock from Godrej, right? Have you seen the Godrej locks? Hello? Uttara? Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah.
If I want to buy
Yes.
a Godrej lock,
Yes.
do
ma'am.
I go
Yes.
to Mr. Adi
Yes.
Godrej's house? Let me finish.
Yeah. I can
Do I go to Mr.
Yes,
Adi
ma'am. I can
Godrej's
clear-
house and ring the bell, have breakfast and tea with him, and then buy the lock? We don't do that, right? What do?
Huh.
We go to the nearest
No.
stockist, and he will show you 10 locks, and we will choose
Yes,
what is
yes.
appropriate for us, right? But when it comes to handloom, handicrafts,
Yeah.
and khadi,
Exactly.
what are we saying? No. We should go directly to the weaver, and the weavers should be directly selling. Now, where do you stay?
Huh.
In which area?
I'm in UAE, ma'am.
So in UAE, how are you going to find? In UAE, how are you going to find the weaver and make sure that he's a genuine weaver, and that weaver is the one who you are going to buy from? And how many weavers are you going to be able to contact? Think practical. So then there are either the websites that you buy from or the middleman you buy from. Now, when you buy it from a middleman, you are helping creating a linkage to the weaver who is sitting in an extreme remote area, and he does not want to come to the urban areas and start weaving here because the lifestyle would be prohibitively expensive for him. So either the website becomes the middleman, where supposedly you are buying directly from the weaver. The weaver is not so smart as yet. I'm not saying future is not there, but the weaver is not smart enough to connect with you, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the middleman
Yes,
is smart enough not only to connect with you, but he's smart enough to connect with Nita Ambani also.
Exactly.
Right? So, but that is not something where the solutions are offered, right? The solution to this is we have to make the middleman responsible. Rather than say that, no, we don't need middleman, we will be buying directly from the weaver. Right? Is that the solution?
Yes.
No, that is not the solution. The solution is to make sure that you express your desires, you ask for certification, you become aware buyer, and buy from the right people who are not going to cheat you, who have a brand. They will be charging for that brand, yes. From the Khadi Gram Udyogs or wherever, at least you are aware that this is genuine Khadi, right?
We can
Otherwise,
check the quality. Yeah, we can check the quality. As you said, the quality concerns, no? We can check like that, no? Like plants and all.
exactly. But at the same time, under the guise of being a weaver, there are so many people who are selling. How would you know that whether they are weavers or not? Right? These are practical issues that I'm talking about. So hence, they have created the Khadi Gram Udyog or Gandhi Gram Udyog or whatever is the label that they use. But at least we are aware that whatever is worthy to the weaver is mostly given to them. Most. We can't generalize that. Can you imagine that if we get rid of all the middlemen, weavers will not have work at all?
Okay.
Do you understand that? That how would
Yes.
we reach directly to the weavers? Say, for example, if you want to buy something from Manipur from the small weaver, are you going to fly down to Manipur and start searching for that weaver and just buy 2 saris from them? It's not
Not
practical,
exactly,
right?
but
Yeah.
not exactly. But what I meant was these people who are doing all the things behind the showroom, they are actually paid less for their work. And people like us, even if we go for the showroom to buy a khadi product and the total price is high, so what we normally do is we don't go for khadi. We will just what we choose for like the most thing we look for the what is the price. We will compare each thing. No,
Yes.
the price and
Uttaraji,
all will.
Uttaraji, again, I will come back to the example of the locks. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how much the manufacturer of the lock is paid and how much Mr. Avi Godrej gets. Do you understand the comparison?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Whereas
Yes. Yes, yes,
at least
relation.
here at least there is a percentage given to the weaver, which is much larger than the blue collar workers get in the industries.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to tell here is no, it's not fair as yet, but these are the choices that we have just now, Uttaraji. And unless we inspire middleman to be fair, until that point, we still will have to go to the middleman who may not be fair, who may not be working ethically. But not shopping is not the answer, or buying directly from the weaver is also not the answer, because it is not going to be practical. Not because you should not do it. Of course you should do it. But how would you do it? That is the real question. No? How will you reach to the small weaver? Now, if you reach to the small weaver, see, I'll give you one more example, or the flip side of it. When you go to Ratnagiri, to buy Alfonso mangoes. Over here, you know Ratnagiri area, right?
Ratnagiri, I don't know, ma'am.
Okay. In Ratnagiri, the best Alfonsos in the world happen. They are grown over there. Right? So when you go to buy best Alfonso mangoes, people feel that I should go to Ratnagiri. But when you go to Ratnagiri, at that time, the best mangoes are already exported.
Yes.
So, that is not available to you. The second best mangoes are already sold to the cities, the 4 metro cities. The third best mangoes are sold to the cities like second tier city and the third tier city. And whatever is not sold is sold in the markets of Ratnagiri. So when you go there, what do you get? Whatever is left over, right? In a similar fashion, whatever the weaver is not able to sell is left with him. So as a consumer, you don't get the best choice out of it. Na? So look at both the sides. I'm not saying either sides are only true. No. But you will have to find a solution and be creative about finding the solution also.
Okay.
Yeah? Does it make sense? Does it answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so
I'm
much.
not saying in favor of middleman, but at the same time, until a responsible middleman is not existing, whatever middleman that we have, we need to ensure that we have a chat with him and at least make him aware of what is happening and what you believe. And what you're saying is absolutely valid. I'm not trying to say that what you're saying is not valid, but the solutions is what we need to find out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Most welcome, Vikram. Most welcome. Geeta ji, any other
Okay.
question?
Hope it is over. So shall we wind up?
I believe so. If there is no other question, let's wind up. But thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk to the students. I do believe that they are the future. Hundreds of Vela Sangvis are not enough for this industry. So you are producing so many more who are going to be practicing. So I congratulate you and your institution also.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, all. I hope we have been through a wonderful session today, and the topic was the textile industry since Gandhi was much relevant and also was a need to our curriculum. At this time, I express my sincere gratitude to Ms. Bella Sangvi for this webinar session on the behalf of MES College Marbley, and also to express my sincere thanks to all faculty members and students of various colleges for their participation in the webinar session. Once again, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. May I take your leave? Geeta ji, may I take your leave?
Sure, ma'am, you can leave. Thank you,
Yeah,
ma'am.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.